Big-time boxing returns to Olympia after a quarter of a century with a showdown to match the occasion. A world title fight between two British boxers, eagerly anticipated by 10,000 fight fans and many sporting and showbiz celebrities here tonight. Good evening. The WBO Middleweight Championship of the World coming up live in about 5 minutes from now, and with me, the man who held that title until it was wrenched from his grasp last year by Chris Eubank. Nigel Benn, good evening to you.
Hi.
Who are you going for tonight then?
I've got a funny feeling, I've got a gut feeling Gary Stretch might pull it off, but I think if the way Chris Eubank's prepared for me, I feel that he will keep on to his title, but I don't know, it's in the balance.
Just going for Eubank. OK, Nigel, thanks very much indeed. Well, the boxers will be out in just a few minutes from now. Two very different personalities with absolutely no love lost between them. Gary Stretch got into boxing as a middle-class teenager, rounding off his amateur career by knocking out George Collins for the National Boys Club title. As a pro, he's lost only once. That was on a cut 6 years ago. Stretch isn't the traditional hungry fighter. He can reputedly make £10,000 a day modelling. He has 8 O-levels and a diploma in business studies to fall back on, but tonight is one examination he's desperate to pass. Christopher Livingston Eubank was born in Dulwich, brought up in Brighton and educated on the streets of the Bronx. As a pro, the record's flawless, and a taste for the impeccable surfaces elsewhere in his almost obsessive concern for image and personal style. But his real passion is the family. 2-year-old Christopher Jr. and wife Karen. Just seconds after his fighting spirit had wrested the world title from Nigel Benn, he showed as well the heart of a true romantic.
Karen, can we get married now? Can we get married? This is a new song. Marry me, Karen.
She did, of course, and married life obviously doing Eubank no harm. He looked in perfect shape this morning, weighing in right on the 11 stone 6 limit. The challenger scaled just a pound lighter. It'll be interesting to see if his extra height is an advantage. Stretch seemed determined, but he'd had enough of the verbal warfare, leaving Eubank, as ever, with the final word.
I can't promise you anything. I'm not going there and take her business. What happens, happens. Best man wins. I think I'm the better man. I mean to prove that tonight.
Welcome back. The stage set here at Olympia for the entry of the fighters, a contest they're calling the Beauty and the Best. Let's join Jim Watt and the man who was today named Television and Radio Industries Club Sports Presenter of the Year, Reg Gutteridge.
Thank you, Nick. Overwhelmed while we're waiting for the entry of the gladiators. I don't know about Beauty and the Best, it might be Beauty and the Boast if you listen to these two. And Gary Stretch will become on first with some kind of version of the Rocky theme, the Eye of the Tiger. We can find them up there at the top. Oh, there they are behind. It's almost like the Magician Act, isn't it? And he'll love every minute of this, the would-be actor. This little lad that came on, we might be able to see him later. That's Stretch's brother, but in fact he's the one that's getting the cheers, but he's not doing the fighting. So many people there worrying about this would-be actor and singer Gary Stretch's. There it is. There at last we got him. That's the brother in the front, and there he's looking very straight ahead as you would expect, Gary Stretch. And Jimmy Tibbs is working with him in case there's any cuts. He's going to be the cut man. And Freddie Roach, a good American boxer, as has been his trainer. He's trained in Las Vegas. And says he's sparred with some world champion, Virgil Hill, a light heavyweight. So although he's been out 11 months, he seemed to think that his timing's okay. Well, sometimes you never can tell until the real action starts. But a very confident character indeed, Gary Stretch from St Helens, and now living in London. They're trying to cast off the playboy image. And I can tell you this, I saw enough of him as an amateur in most of his pro fights now. He's quite a hard nut behind that nice-looking face of his. Seemed a bit tense at the weigh-in today, we thought. came in at a pound inside the middleweight limit. He was the light middleweight champion at one time, and they took it away from him for not defending for a year. That was the 11 stone division. So whether this move up or not, he's only had one official middleweight fight, so we don't know whether he can cope with that. Crowd like him though. I think that's not so much as popularity as the current unpopularity really of Chris Eubank. And he just upset everybody in his last fight with the infamous backhander. And he loves every minute of this. He's soaking it up. He's got the stage at the moment stretched, and he's going to milk it. Got a retinue in the corner there in their white tracksuits. There's enough of them, but the border control won't allow more than 3 at one time. So let's hope he fights like that, Jim. He's throwing enough punches before we get the entrance of Eubank.
Yeah, well, he does look a little bit tense. He's never been at this level before. Eubank has been here a couple of times. So the first round or so will be very important for Gary Stretch, I would say. It's a good start, I think. We'll just settle him down. So hopefully he'll get that and we'll have a really exciting match.
So there he is, Eubank, as he said, he's going to do the business. Well, if he doesn't, he has no business in there. Reigning champion now trying to forget that terrible night he had. He won on points in the 10th round against the Canadian Dan Cherry, and then, as he said, when he backheaded him, it was just something of the sort of spur of the moment, a quick thing that he didn't need to do, and he did an impulse rather than violence, and then he faced up and public castigation really, and 10,000 fine by the Boxing Board of Control. He took that with good grace and apologised to the steward. So let's face it, he's paid his penalty, but nonetheless held on to his championship. Total concentration. Trainer Ronnie Davis, boxed around with Southern Area champion, says he never knows what he's going to do. He said, as long as I can keep him in good condition, that's all I can tell you. He doesn't tell me what he's going to do. I think he's been through a whole battery of trainers in his career, this fellow. Started in America in 4-round fights in Atlantic City. And more or less interviews his managers rather than let them, and now he's having his career guided by tonight's promoter Barry Hearn in this great comeback at Olympia with about, I should think, 10,000 people in. It's 31 years since I've been here, and it's more in than there was then. And it's not cheap to get in either. It's about £150 ringside, I'm told. So he's either counting the house if he's on the percentage of the gate. Jim, we've said it 1,000 times, he's very different, this fellow, isn't he? He's a one-off.
Yeah, you never know what to expect from him. I see Stretch walking over to him then. Stretch's corner, push Stretch back again. I think Stretch wanted to go over and eyeball him, gain a psychological advantage. I don't think that'll work with this man. He has an excellent temperament.
Ladies and gentlemen, promoted by Matchroom in association with Giant Promotions and sponsored by the Daily Mirror, we are proud to present the main attraction of the evening, a middleweight contest at 11 stone 6 pounds, over 12 rounds, each of 3 minutes duration, for the WBO Middleweight Championship of the world. The judges for the contest are Lou Jensen of Copenhagen, Mike Gleaner of Chicago, Illinois, and Bob Ballo of Miami in Florida. Your WBO supervisor is Ed Levine of the United States of America, and your British Boxing Board of Control supervisor is Nick Lee. Your referee for the contest is Tony Orlando of New Jersey, and your timekeeper Ray Rice of Morton in Surrey. Ladies and gentlemen, presenting and introducing to you in the red corner with the black shorts, the challenger for the title, the former undefeated light middleweight champion of England, 22 wins from 23 contests, Gary Stretch! And his opponent in the blue corner with the white shorts, with 26 wins from 26 contests, defending the title, practice WBO middleweight champion of the world, Chris Eubank!
I think this is going to be explosive from the
Ladies
start.
and
I
gentlemen,
doubt whether they'll look at each other early on.
9:45 this morning, Gary Stretch scaled 11 stone 5 pounds. Chris Eubank 11 stone 6 pounds.
And Eubank doesn't want him to touch him. He said, I'll just go through the formality of touching gloves, and the referee called him back. So it's simply the best versus the gifted one. There's a little bit of show business, a touch of circus coming into the fight game these days. So now then, we're all intrigued by this one, I have to say. The beauty and the so-called best. So the right-hand forward style then of Gary Stretch. It seems to have been in a bit of a grow bag since he last fought. They say he's now 6'2". That's a bit tall indeed for a middleweight.
I don't know if it's 6'2", it's an advantage or a disadvantage, Reg. Against a sneaky counter-puncher like Eubank, he could be caught with his chin a little bit high once or twice. But he's certainly pumped up for this one Stretch.
This referee, Tony Orlando from New Jersey, obviously the WBO have told him they weren't very happy with the refereeing in Eubank's previous fight, and he's got to have strict control here. Oh, this is very untidy, the wrestling that's going on in the opening round. This is ridiculous. I knew that the bad temperedness between them now it's going to really spoil the contest like this. The referee's got to get hold of this very quickly.
The Stretch is just laying his head on Eubank's face then. So I don't know who's the more guilty of the two.
He's a good standoff boxer, Gary Stretch, when he wants to be. I don't think he's obviously some tactical plan that he and his corner have worked out to try and smother Eubank early on. Eubank has knocked out opponents a bit lively. 23 seconds, was it? The Brazilian he knocked over.
Well, Stretch is trying to move around to his own right-hand side, as a good southpaw should get outside Eubank's jab. He's moving in the right direction in the first few seconds of the fight, and just trying to get outside Eubank's jab. Beat him to the punch.
Yeah, he's had trouble fighting going forward, Jim, if you remember, in several fights. Although he didn't have it against Ben, did he, Chris Eubank? He looked the part there.
Well, Eubank does like the opponent to lead off. See, he's very poor when he has to go forward. He's got no technique at all. No rhythm of technique going forward. He does have a sound chin. Stretch just tested it slightly then, but he proved against Ben he has an excellent chin.
Well, Eubank's got to do something to get his medals back, because every punch that Stretch throws, they're certainly cheering him. Oh, it was a good shot, that was an overarm try, only got away with it, Eubank.
See, I think of the two, Eubank does have the more sound chin. He has certainly proved that, and Stretch is carrying his chin a little bit too high. He's a little bit intent on what he's doing, but he wants that chin down between his shoulders a little bit more.
Well, let's hope some of that sort of carefully nurtured paint has gone out of it by the end of the first round. It often happens in a championship fight. A little bit of blood behind Gary Stretch's ear, Jim. That's a bit unusual as he went back to that corner there behind his right ear. Well, so there's the first look at either of them. He decided to sit down after, a bit like going to the office in the morning. He thinks he'll have a rest. Now then, Ronnie Davis has got to say to him now, come on, let's clean this thing up now. We're not going to win anything like that. And there's the rundown, of course, for Eubank. Unbeaten. You can't knock an unbeaten record. He came right in at the middleweight division at 11 stone 6. And Gary Stretch there. Doesn't seem to be worried at all about the little nick somewhere behind the ear. I'm not sure. We'll find out as it goes along in his record. But been out 11 months, remember. But had the light middleweight title stripped from him for not defending. And the only defeat was with a cut eye very early in his career, so that was a bit meaningless. He's virtually unbeaten. Into the second then, scheduled of course Championship 412, the World Boxing Organisation version. And we've got another version holder here, the WBA. Mike McCallum's in the audience.
Well, I think we can expect the action to tidy up a little bit now. I think they were both a little bit oversight in the first round, and a few rules were broken, but I think the fight should settle down now. Stretch didn't allow Eubank to find any rhythm in the first round, and I think that's what he must continue to do. He must set the pace, but he must do it carefully. He must keep that chin down and keep moving outside Eubanks' jab. That was the straight sucker right hand through the southpaw jab from Eubank.
I don't know how he's going to cope with the southpaw stance yet. Hasn't had that much experience against him. But the one thing we're sure of, Jim, if we're judging from the Nigel Benn fight, that certainly Eubank absorbs a good punch and a lot of heart.
A couple of times then Stretch was reaching with the punches. He doesn't want to do that. He needs to be a little bit more compact to step up to Eubank. Keep nice and compact, nice and tight, as I say. If he overreaches, then Eubank is going to catch him with these counter punches he throws.
So, as I said, in the second round it's calmed down a bit in terms of that silly grappling that we had early on. No, don't rule that as a knockdown there, the referee, and quite right, he slipped there and Stretch helped him on his way. Remember, 3 judges should it go the 12 rounds. Chicago, Miami and Denmark. So a minute to go in the second.
See, Eubank still doesn't know how to mount an attack and sustain it. I know it's early days here and it's a little bit fiery, but as he steps, all the way he does, I mean, he steps forward, he turns southpaw, gets caught with his feet square. He's not very good going forward, but that punch certainly landed. That one seemed to, I don't know if that was balance, a trip, or if that punch shook Stretch a little bit.
Looked like it, Jim, didn't it? A body punch. But he might have, his right foot forward might have just caught the leg of Eubank there, but he looked a bit stunned anyway. Countdown then for the end of round 2.
Now we have to remember that Eubank is a full middleweight, has always been a middleweight, with a Stretch stepping up to 11 stone 6. We don't know how strong, how much power he's going to have.
Did a little bit more work in that round against Stretch, is pinching it, as the boxing traders would say.
See, we've seen a lot of evasive boxing from Eubank, but he's not throwing many punches, Reg. He's causing Stretch to miss, but he's not coming back with enough.
Seeing the overhead shot in the replay as well, Jim. No, you're right, he did that with Sherry. He'd stood off so much in the early rounds, which is why we didn't think that he could win when he had the 2 points deducted in that fight.
I think that just was a stumble over each other's feet.
Yes,
there, Reg.
I think so. The knees more or less caught there. So we've also got one of the premier referees, Harry Gibbs, to just look at this and give his opinion. And there's his scorecard. He's given the first 2 rounds to Stretch. Now, of course, that is not official. Out for the third.
Yeah, that punch was well low from Eubank, obviously accidental.
Yeah, well, so obviously the height of Stretch as well. He's got to be careful where he throws those. That's all we need. If Eubank was disqualified, what kind of posturing would we get then?
Well, it's untidy, Reg, and it's down to Eubanks at the moment. He's the one ducking and diving and grabbing round the waist. The Stretch is standing up, he's trying to box in the orthodox fashion. I say that, I realise he's southpaw, but he's trying to box in the way we expect. But Eubank's ducking and diving and spoiling a little bit.
He likes to be forced to fight, Jim, doesn't he? And he's just standing off a bit now, Stretch, which is smart for him. But Eubank would look better, as he did again, I would say once again with Ben. That was a fair old left-hand punch he used there, though.
So this is the thing, Stretch does carry his head a little bit high and he's reaching with the punches. He did it again there. He's not stepping in with the punch, he's reaching and he's getting caught with his chin too high with the counters.
He's been in one or two rough rides, don't worry about that. He had an absolute war. You remember that, Jim, with the Argentinian referee Senna at London Arena, and you know, his face was banged up and he hung in there the whole time. So
he also had a hard battle with Gary Cooper for the British title. I think he had a broken nose and he stuck with it. I mean, he really has a grit. I don't say his chin is maybe as sound as Eubanks, but he certainly is brave, no doubt about that. Another slip, the referee has decided.
Yeah, shaking his face and saying that wasn't a knockdown, but Stretch is absolutely dying to hit him while he's down, and I just hope he doesn't. Minute to go. Oh, a little bit of kidding to each other now, isn't it?
Well,
two actors at work. Eubank shaking his head.
A little bit of posing and threatening and gesturing, but not a lot of punches landed here. See, they're both actually good boxers. They're trying to force a mistake from the other fellow.
Yeah, sort of a spiteful chess match, isn't it?
You see, a Stretch could just draw some more leads there from Eubank like that and come over the top with his own southpaw jab.
So Gary Newbon's going to have a word, I think, with Michael Watson, who's hopefully going to fight the winner.
Michael, you are next in line. Do you think you'll be fighting him? Will he still be champion so far?
Well, I hope so. You know, Gary's really working behind his left hand very well. If Gary doesn't get too involved and gets drawn into a fight, I believe we could be seeing a new champion.
Really? I mean, is the fight going the way you thought it would go?
No, I didn't. I thought Chris Eubank would have been dictating the pace, but I've given the first round to Gary, and also I've given him the third round.
Right, now, Eubank does look very awkward coming forward, doesn't he?
I wouldn't say he's a dictator, he's more of a counter-puncher. Gary doesn't have to get involved into a fight. You know, Gary's got to make him win this fight. He's got a very good left hand, and I believe so far Gary's winning the fight.
So there we go, we're into round 4. And the opinion of Michael Watson, sitting next to Mike McCullum, who beat him for the Championship of the World.
So Eubank still not comfortable coming forward, Reggie. Not a good attacking boxer at all. He really makes some dreadful mistakes and ends up with his chin in some funny positions. Stretch is the more composed at the moment. He's quite happy, I think, the way things are going. He's showing a bit more care. He's not quite as reckless as he was in the first couple of rounds. He's settled down, and I think he's trying to draw the leads now and come back with the counter-punching southpaw jab.
Actually, before the contest, you could say, well, with their styles, that they do a little bit of spoiling of each other. It's always on the cards. A minute gone in the 4th round then. Live on the Olympia, the first show for 31 years or so we've had here. A very impressive haul. Jim?
Well, it's there again. Eubank tried to mount an attack, missed with a couple of punches and ended up having to duck and dive away down low to get himself out of trouble. See, when he commits himself, if his punches don't land, he doesn't know what to do after that. He's never really learned how to attack. He doesn't have any fluency or continuity about his attack, and it's just single punches, swings, then he has to duck and dive if those punches miss. But I think Eubank is going to have to turn this into a kind of more physical contest. I don't think he's winning any prize. He's standing off in boxing. Stretch has the longer reach. He's quite nifty on his feet. Eubank is going to have to use his strength and his middleweight power and draw Stretch into a real battle, I think.
Just a warning there from referee Orlando, not to duck too low there. Eubank should not be below the waistband, actually.
The referee's going to have a stern word, I think, with Eubank. He's ducking every time Stretch comes in. He's really ducking low with his head. See, now this is not really clever boxing from Eubank. He's just diving. As soon as Stretch comes close, he's just diving low.
Oh, Jim, I said it to you before in contest. We can never really read Chris Eubank, and the only boxer. Oh yes, he's doing a bit of taunting now. Remember, that's what the Canadian did last time, and the usual separation at the end of the ball. Get back to your own corner. He really dislikes this man. He's so casual and calm about it all, isn't he? Well, I must say that Stretch is looking absolutely full of confidence, isn't he? Not that I'm surprised by that, having seen quite a bit of him. He always fancies his luck, and why not? He won a championship, he won a boys' club championship. And almost the wash and brush up in the corner there, little bits of Vaseline around the face to stop the chafing of the gloves. And overhead replay, Jim.
We'll see what happens. Well, that was the couple of nice little sharp counter punches from Eubank.
So out for round 5.
Eubank trying to draw Stretch in. Stretch doing the right thing. The fight's going his way, so why should he commit himself? Just keep things going the way they're going. See, Stretch is just trying to draw the leads from Eubank, and this is the right way to box Eubank, because he is not very good at all at attacking. So Stretch, I think, has tumbled this. He's just standing in front of him, trying to draw the leads, and he knows that Eubank is really vulnerable after the leads. I mean, look at that for a right-hand lead.
Times when Eubank looks like he's otherwise engaged him.
Yeah, well, his technique leaves a lot to be desired. And when an opponent forces him to come forward, see, I mean, these attacks, they're single punches.
Low punch as well, that one.
That one was well off target, yeah.
He's got to watch that, because another low punch, you get deducted a point, then the referee will point to the judges to do that.
But it's like a hit and hope we're seeing from Eubank. He's just throwing these swings, single swings. He's not really backing Stretch up into the ropes where he has nowhere to move.
See, it's no good him shaking his head and saying you didn't hurt. They're still scoring.
They don't have to hurt, because he's coming back with nothing. Things are certainly going Gary Stretch's way here. Eubank is going to have to turn this into a real bloodbath, I think, because the standing off boxing is not doing him any good. See, we have to look to Eubank to be that bit stronger than Stretch, but he's not using that strength.
Quite impressed with the referee, Jim. Mind you, I said that last time and he turned out a bit of a disappointment, but this fella's been very strong, isn't he, Tony Orlando?
Yeah, well, no doubt he's been well told about how the previous fight with Eubank got out of hand. Eubank apologising for a low blow. That's the first little bit of sportsmanship we've seen between the two tonight. Stretch has lost a little bit of his composure now, Reggie. He's under slight pressure now. He's lost his rhythm. Eubank beginning to impose himself a little bit on Stretch now.
As he said before the contest, that Stretch said he won't have to come looking for me. I'll be there, all right. I won't be running. And I was surprised when people rang up at the fight that they thought he would. Well, simply the best, not at the moment. Certainly I haven't got in my head, and I know Jim Watt hasn't. And We'll have a look at Harry Gibbs's version. As I say, it's an unofficial version anyway when it comes up on the screens. And there it is. The overall, as I say, he's now got him 2 points in front. But after judging the last fight with Eubank and Sherry, remember the judges still had Eubank in front, so you can't tell. That's very unofficial, of course. It's just a good look from one of the world's most experienced referees who's retired, but he's still a judge with the World Boxing Council. Round 6 of this 12-rounder for the WBO Middleweight Championship.
Well, for a little spell in that previous round there, I mean, this is Stretch. This is ridiculous what Stretch is doing here.
Oh, he's done it.
Yeah, that was a stupid thing Stretch did then. Stupid thing. He actually jumped
taken a point away from Stretch now. That's, well, he's in order to do that. I said he was a strong referee.
Well, Eubank committed the foul, if you like. He ducked low, he dived in low to keep his chin out of harm's way, but Stretch virtually jumped on top of him like a wrestler. That was a foolish thing to do, and it's cost him dearly. Yeah, that's a shot. That's really shaking Stretch. That's the punch. Stretch wants to get his hands up, and he wants to touch down. That's what he wants to do. Take a count, get his head cleared.
Got to push him back to the neutral corner now. It's the first real banger that Eubank has landed in the 6th round.
He hasn't recovered, Reg.
He hasn't recovered from it either, but he's had a good look at him, the referee.
He is still stunned, Reg. Yep.
He's done him all right. He's done nothing, or virtually nothing, until this round, and now he's made it pay Eubank. Second count, 3 knockdowns, Jim. No, he stopped it without waiting for the 3rd knockdown. So in soccer speak, the boy done well. He came from nowhere there, well, more or less nowhere. I mean, certainly the unofficial score by Harry Gibbs had Stretch a couple of points ahead, and then suddenly it got hit, and, well, it didn't only run out of gas, Jim, the stamina drained from it.
Yeah, well, it was a good shot, Reg. We did say that Eubank's chin was probably the chin department was where Eubank was really strongest. It was a good shot that got Stretch, and Stretch never really recovered. So over it came, it caught him with his chin too high again. He's been boxing with his chin high all the way through the contest. You can see the effect. There it goes, bang. Now that shot really shook him up.
Yeah, the uppercut.
This is where he should have touched down without getting knocked down. He should have went down onto one knee, and he may have recovered from the first punch, but he didn't. He took another couple, and he never got a chance to recover. Up he came. You can see looking at his eyes, Reg. He's not with it at all. And that was only a punch round at the ear hole. That wasn't even a solid shot. Just knocked him over because his legs had nothing left.
Well, he's entitled to the plaudits tonight. He's taken a bit of stick early on, and he's come through it. He's punched his way through it. You might enjoy the ogre role, as it were, the intimidator, but to be fair to him, he's done the business.
The referee, Tony Orlando, has stopped the contest. The winner, and still the
So MC Alan Hughes then just giving the official verdict, as if you don't already know. And of course it's like the London Underground in the rush hour in there as usual. And the WBO belt being put on there by Ed Levine from Miami, representing the WBO, and the promoter Barry Hearn, who's obviously pleased with his night's work, the first comeback show at the Olympia. And a whole battery of cameramen waiting now to see what Stretch is doing, and maybe having something to say. Well, quite a spectacular finish, wasn't it, Jim, now?
Well, an emphatic victory for Eubank, but we can't see really a tremendous performance. He was struggling again to find any rhythm. Stretch was boxing well, we had him ahead in points, but it's the end that counts, and the ending was good for Eubank.
What was it? Right hand, right hand.
Well, Chris, you held on to your championship, but I have to tell you, up to the point that you stopped him, you were looked as if you were behind on points.
Well, you must have been seeing another fight. Let me talk about something much more important. In Iraq, there's people who are dying, and I, on behalf of the boxing fraternity, would like to thank the government and the US government for helping. Everyone wishes sooner, but better late than never. Now, about the fight.
Yes.
Gary Stretch, a fine athlete. I take nothing away from the man. The man's cut me. First time I've been cut in my career.
Can we just have a look at that? Just across there, right? Got it. Carry on.
I'll go home. I'll go home to my wife, Karen, and Karen, you can look after me. Okay. Anything else you want to know?
Yes, I want to know whether really you thought that was a good performance from you tonight, because I think most people would have had you behind on points.
Well, you're entitled to your opinion. I knew I would stop this opponent from the very first punch he hit me with. He still has the power of a light middleweight. I am a middleweight of phenomenal strength, according to the middleweights in the world. So I would say to you, in my opinion, I think it was a good performance.
When you look back, you may criticise yourself for looking a little awkward when you come forward, but there's one thing about you, Chris, you can take a punch and you can finish, because we can show you the closing stages now. Can we have a look at the closing stages here, Chris?
Gary, listen, I ain't gonna have feelings, man.
Right, well, Gary, we're not going to show that because we've got a chance to talk to Gary. Come in, Gary. Gary, you were doing well until the end. Of course, that's what boxing's all about when you get stopped.
It was a great shot. I'm real sorry to everyone who's supported me. I tried to make them proud, and I'm very sorry, but let me wish Chris all the best in his future, and welcome.
Thank you, Gary.
Gary, you were doing very well until that last round.
I felt fine. I thought that Chris couldn't hurt me at that stage, but that's boxing. Suddenly I got it with a good shot, and
okay,
that's the rest is history.
Chris, you're still world champion.
Gary,
I want to take that away. Thank you very much.
Okay.
Well, the views from the two fighters after that breathtaking finish. We'll have more views here from Olympia in just a moment. Stay with us. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Olympia, where Chris Eubank has held on to his world middleweight title, and with me now is the man who Eubank beat last year, Nigel Benn. Sorry to rub that one in. What did you think of the fight, first of all?
It was okay.
Is that all?
I don't think it compares to anything of me and Chris Eubank's fight. He's still the champion. And
it's quite a turnaround in the end, wasn't it?
Pardon?
A turnaround in the end. I mean, Eubank was behind.
Yeah,
points.
I feel the only thing that really bothered Eubanks was the southpaw stance. I don't think he studied the southpaw stance, and I think that was the only problem that he really had.
This is the first knockdown now. What do you make of this?
Eubanks is a very strong puncher, and he's accurate. I mean, and he packs a punch. I think anyone over 11 stone can pack a punch.
Here it is again from another angle.
Yeah, you know, it's not only just, I mean, he's thrown a lot, he's missing a lot, but he's knowing what shots to throw. And I think Gary being out the ring like 12 months and moving up to middleweight.
And this is how it all finished here, Nigel.
Exhausted he was.
Absolutely exhausted. Nigel, for the time being, thanks very much. Let's get back down to ringside now and join Gary Eubank.
Well, with me is Mike McCallum and Mike Watson. Mike McCallum, the WBA champion, and for a lot of people, the best world champion at this weight. What did you think of Chris Eubank and that performance tonight?
I think it was a pretty good performance. He did what he had to do. He weathered the storm, he took his time, and he won a good fight.
Do you fancy fighting Eubank?
Definitely. My mission is to unify the title. And if he's in fact the champion, definitely I'm looking forward to fighting.
Okay, and Mike Watson, your fight is now definitely on for the summer against Chris Eubank. Are you going to take him out?
Most certainly. It's the fight everybody's been waiting for. I've waited patiently. Now I've got the opportunity to take the title away from Chris Eubank.
There was a lot to learn tonight. He's not very good coming forward, is he? But he can punch.
I've known that a very long time. He's not very effective coming forward. I'll say he's a good counter puncher, but I've seen a lot of force tonight, and I'm looking forward to getting it on the Chris Eubank.
Thank you very much, both of you. Thank you.
Certainly a very interesting middleweight division at the moment, isn't it? Right, it's time to say goodnight to you from Olympia. A fight between Chris Eubank and Gary Stretch that means Eubank ends up with his world title still intact. He is still the WBO middleweight champion of the world. Next on ITV this Sunday, the Rumbelows League Cup final. But for now, from us all at Olympia.